What's up, y'all? It's your boy Tevin Jameer back at it again with another episode of the Hate It or Love It podcast. And man, this is going to be the last episode of 2023. Let me say this. I'm recording this on December 23rd, but I'm going to release this on the Tuesday after Christmas. I think that's December 26th. Yeah, and that's the last Tuesday of the year. So this is pretty much the last episode of the year, and I was like, you know what? Let me do another year-end episode like I did last year, where I showed my end-of-year photo. I explained all the moments in the photo, and then go over the goals that I had last year, and then go over the goals that I hope to have for next year. So yeah, enough talking. Y'all see the picture on the screen, and yes, this will be the last audio only episode for a while, because I've been doing a lot of audio only episodes. I did it for the music, I did it for film. I was also doing it leading up to those end of year videos, because I was working on the podcast and I didn't want to use my camera and stuff like that. And now we have this episode, but I have to show y'all the pictures that I'm talking about. So yeah, man. Enough explaining. Y'all already know how this goes. If you watched last year's episode, you already know how to go. And also, like I said, I really just show the pictures and I tell y'all what the pictures mean to me and stuff like that. So we're gonna go through the different rows in the picture. Now, as you can see in the top left photo, the very top left photo, that picture came from Thanksgiving. It's a picture of me, my grandma, my dad, and one of my uncles. My uncle is in the red shirt, my dad all the way in the back, of course, because I look the most like him. And of course, Thanksgiving is always something special every year, but this Thanksgiving was a little bit different, because I would say this is the first Thanksgiving that my parents wanted to have at the house in years. We haven't done that since I was a little kid. So having, people actually come over this year was definitely something different. Thank God I didn't have to drive nowhere, or we didn't have to ride nowhere. And then also, when you go over other people's houses, you got to be ready to leave. Nah, for me, I just went straight to sleep. I was good. So Thanksgiving this year was something special. Also, it was the first time I shown people my short film. I was in the process of making it, and I wanted to show my dad's side of the family, the film. So that they could give me their critiques on audio and stuff like that. And man, was that definitely a night of critiques, but I will say overall that it was still a good time. The food was great, of course, because my dad is the best cook I know, and all of that. So yeah, Thanksgiving was a great one. And man, it was just one of those days that you just look back on in a very fond way, because it's yeah, see, now my parents got me on this emotional stuff, because, showing my movie, talking about my movie and showing it to people, that Thanksgiving, and the fact that I showed it to I showed the movie to my grandma, it really does bring up how fortunate I am to have my grandma still here with me. And that's what I was thinking throughout Thanksgiving a lot. Actually, both my grandmoms, both of them are still here with me, and that was something my parents kept making me think about, because they emotional people. When I was telling them about my movie and I was telling them how I was having the premiere, they were like, oh, you got to invite your grandmoms, it's a very special thing that they're both here to see you reach your goal. And that's what I was thinking about at Thanksgiving. I was thinking about what they said, and it's wow, grandmom's still here, and she was still able to see my movie and stuff like that. And it's just it's just a very beautiful thing to see her live this long, and the fact that she's still very much healthy. As you guys can see in the picture, when a lot of people see my grandma, they say she really doesn't look that old for her age. And I think part of it is also, black don't crack unless you do crack. But also, it's just because, I don't know, it was just amazing to, it's just amazing to think about the fact that I'm still fortunate enough to have her here, both of them here. And it's it's just amazing. So Thanksgiving was definitely a good night. The picture below that is me, Al, and Seth. You guys saw them on the podcast, and two random white dudes that they met at the club. I don't know why all of us took this group picture, but yeah, It's a group picture of all of us at the club. I only put that there because that's one of the more clearer photos of me, Seth, and Al. I do have other photos of the three of us together, but either it was like when we were all doing the podcast, or there was other club photos that we took, but it was blurry as shit. And I did kind of want to put it because I did like the fact that it was blurry, but I was like, nah, I'm gonna go with this one just because I feel like it is a better picture. The fact that it's not blurry, and I thought it was kind of funny that we linked up with these two random white dudes at the club. That was just weird. But yeah, I think I told y'all before, we be clubbing a lot, so it was just one of those special moments. Though that was a good night though, because like that was the week of me and my cousin's trip to Myrtle Beach. And that was like literally the night before. And everybody was like, Tevin, you're really about to go out? Like you're going to catch a flight in the morning. And I'm personally someone, if you want to get me to go to sleep easily, put me on a flight. I can knock out so quickly on a flight. It's actually crazy. So I told them, yeah, I don't mind like, going to the club and partying because like as soon as I get on that plane, I'm just going to knock the hell out. So yeah, that was a fun night right there. The picture below that is the family reunion. And yeah, on my mom's side of the family, we had a family reunion this year, and it was crazy. I talked about that on one of my older podcast episodes. So if you guys want to know more about that, then go check out the rest of the pod. But that day was really fun, seeing that side of the family. And I think I said it before, like when I was a lot younger, my mom's side of the family always got together a lot more, like so much more. I see my dad's side of the family regularly, but my mom's side is more just like, if you see them, you see them. If we don't, we don't. Like we used to have so much more parties and get-togethers when I was younger. So this family reunion was definitely something special. Got to see cousins that I haven't seen in a while, got to see aunts and uncles that I haven't gotten to see in a while, and then also my cousin Sadell, he was doing his podcast, the Opposing Perspective podcast. He was doing like a live family pod episode. Well, not really live, like not live streaming, but like we were just filming the episode at the family reunion. So go check those out. I might leave that link in the description. But yeah, it was just a fun day. Had a lot of good time, a lot of good food, and yeah, that podcast was definitely cool. The photo under that is a photo that I took of the beach at Myrtle Beach, which I gotta say, besides I forget what part of Florida my cousin got married in, but besides that beach in Florida, this is probably like the second best beach I've ever been to. Actually, no, third best beach behind Jamaica. Jamaica had a nice beach to me, but this is easily the third best beach that I've ever been to. Like I love the beach in Myrtle Beach. Walking around and all that was like really fun. So yeah, that beach was really good. The water was good too. And I talked about this on the episode where I was talking about my trip, but man, it was crazy like how much it's different. And Myrtle Beach is in South Carolina, right? Yeah, let me know if I'm wrong or right. But yeah, it was crazy to see how it's so much different than how they treat beaches in Jersey. Because like at nighttime, beaches in Jersey are just straight up closed. Like don't go on them or else you're gonna get locked up or something. But at Myrtle Beach, like people was like swimming all night long. Like I go to the balcony at our room and I see people with like night lights still swimming in the ocean or like walking the beach or just laying on the beach. And I'm like, bro, like this is why I fucking hate Jersey. Like I love like people like that where like they want to still be outdoors no matter what time of the day it is or just enjoy stuff. So yeah, the beach in Myrtle Beach was always something nice. And besides, in every year-end photo, I always like to like put a photo of a place that I've been to or just a site that I found beautiful, and that was the one. So now we're going to the middle row of the photos, or technically this picture kind of takes part in the middle and the right row, but yeah, the top picture is me and my dad at the Eagles game. I've talked about this before. My dad has never been to an Eagles game before, and while yes, my cousin called me out on it, like, or not really called me out because I never tried to make it seem like that I purposely was doing this, but I think I said before that me and my friend was supposed to go to the Eagles game, but then I asked my dad if he wanted to go since my friend and my mom, once my friend canceled, I asked my mom and she couldn't. So I did wind up asking my dad, and it was the first time he ever went to an Eagles game. As big of an Eagles fan as he's been, and also he's been to Phillies games, but he never been to the Eagles games. So that was a special moment knowing that I was the one that took him. And my cousin was trying to say, like, oh, you made it seem like, you did that. You planned it all out. Like, all right. My thing is, just because that wasn't the original plan doesn't mean I didn't put any thought into it. My dad loves the Eagles, so I took him to the Eagles game, and then while I was there, I just happened to find out that it was his first one. So it was a special night, whether it was really planned or not. And yeah, me and him both enjoyed our time there. They were getting their butts whooped, so during like halftime, we decided like, all right, let's go. And yeah, a lot of other people also left too because they were getting their butt whooped during halftime. But yeah, no matter whether they won, lost, whatever, it was still a great moment. And I really hope to have an experience like that again, like to take him to another Eagles game. And he was so hyped when we were there because he was like, man, we got to start doing this more. We got to get regular season tickets and stuff like that. So yeah, I really enjoyed that night. It was a good night. And then also, me and my dad really don't have those like hangouts like we used to do when I was younger. So to have another night like this, especially at an Eagles game, because whenever we do, we usually just go bowling or something like that. But it was nice to have another night like that at an event like this. The middle two pictures, the first one is my nephew Royce. It was his kindergarten graduation. So it was, kindergarten graduations. It was a cute little ceremony and whatever. And I had to take a picture with my boy. So yeah. The picture next to that is of my cat Nyla. I don't think I've ever said it on the podcast before, but I did say that I had two cats. One was Diamond, and she died in like 2017. Nyla was still kicking, and she unfortunately passed this year. So just like what I did with Diamond in that end of the year photo, I put Nyla in the end of year photo just to remember her. And like, yeah, Nyla really was still kicking this long. It's crazy. We had these cats for a very long time. We got them, I think, when I was in 5th grade, and Nyla lasted until, I think we got them when I was like 10 or 11, and Nyla lived up to the point I was 25. So she died right before my birthday, so when I was 24. So yeah, like Nyla really lasted a very long time, and she was a really good cat to us. She was the most friendliest cat I've ever seen in my life. It doesn't matter if you were a stranger, it doesn't matter who you were. She was really always looking for a rub. She was always looking to cuddle with somebody. Like Nyla was literally the nicest cat I think anybody could ever have. I mean that more personality wise, because she used to piss and poop all over the house. Like she was almost like a dog. So we literally we done everything to try to get her bathroom situation right. But at some point we were just like, all right, like we just know this is what she does and whatever. We made the best of it. And yeah, Nyla was literally the sweetest cat I've ever seen in my life. And like I said, she was really sweet to everybody, whether you were family, whether you were strangers. Like she really was a very loving cat. And I only seen her hiss at one person, and it was a baby that kept pulling her tail. So I'm not going to get into the story of that. But yeah, Nyla literally, I only seen her act out once, but Nyla was the sweetest cat of all time. I don't care what nobody had to say. So while she was very annoying with the pissing and pooping all over the house, I will say that besides that, she really was a sweet cat, and I'm going to miss her. Like my mom asked me if I wanted to get another cat after Nyla died, and I don't know if this is just me, because I know a lot of people that loves pets usually do this, but when their pet dies, they automatically go and get another one. And I'm not saying that you didn't love your pet that much just because you got another one, but For me, Diamond and Nyla were this house family's cats. And I felt like once they passed, then that's about it. I can't really see myself getting another pet after they're gone. Or I'll say I can't see myself getting a pet anytime soon now that both of them are gone. Because whenever I do move out, I do plan on getting another pet, preferably a dog and a cat. But if I can only get one, I would probably get a cat. It's a lot, nicer in an apartment for a cat or whatever. So yeah, but I just can't see myself getting another cat anytime soon just because, Diamond and Nyla, they weren't just pets to me. For me, they were family. And I know some people have different stances on how they view pets and stuff like that. But for me, Diamond and Nyla were my cats, and I can't see myself getting another one. So, yeah, R.I.P. Nyla. Then we're going to go to this last row, which the middle two pictures are of me and the first one is me and my cousin Sinir. We were on the Sky Wheel at Myrtle Beach. Just a unreleased photo from Myrtle Beach that I wanted to throw in there. And yeah, Myrtle Beach was a very fun trip. That's one of the few cities that we've been to that I actually don't mind going back to. I still say the number one city that I always wanted to revisit from one of our trips is Baltimore. I was just talking about that with my boy last night, about how like I miss Baltimore. Like that is actually a city that I love. Which is weird because I usually don't like cities and stuff like that, but Baltimore was a city that I actually love. So someday I am going to go back and, see the sights again and maybe try to do some new things that I didn't do on our original trip. Same with Myrtle Beach. Someday I would love to go back to Myrtle Beach because we were so pressed with money. We really extended the trip. We really extended our money by like, all right, we're going to do this. We wanted to do this, but we're going to save our money so that we could do this tomorrow and stuff like that. Like we really were so low on money that we were really careful about all the things we did. So Myrtle Beach is definitely one of those trips that I wouldn't mind going back on just to like now when I have more money, like we can do so much more and we can just have a little bit more fun. Not saying that the trip wasn't fun because I definitely still loved what we did, but it's also like, when you have more money, like shoot, you can go out and do more. So that's all I'm saying. It was still a very fun trip for everything that we did. The photo underneath is me, Al, my friend Anthony, and one of the actresses in my movie, Aaliyah. That was the final day of shooting Blood Money. We thought we had it done when, we edited, or me and Al was editing the film, and there was a certain scene. I'm not going to spoil anything because y'all haven't seen it, but for people that have seen the movie, you guys know a scene just from the photo that we taken. But there was like one scene where the initial shot that we did on the first day of filming, we didn't get a good angle of Anthony. So we had to re-record that scene, and we also had to line it up for Anthony and Aaliyah to both be available, and we had to add an extra day because we were trying to do all the other stuff that like we had scenes that we still had to film, and then we also had to film that scene again. So we were trying to do it all in a second day, but Aaliyah's schedule just didn't work. So we had to do like another day, like a third day of filming. And that moment in that photo, that was the picture that we took right after we finally finished filming everything. It was finally a wrap. And yeah, nobody, and the crazy thing is and I gotta compliment Al, I also gotta compliment Aaliyah and Anthony, because Anthony, he wore that same outfit 3 days. He wore that same outfit for 3 days, but Aaliyah was a little bit more complicated because she had makeup on, and that was one of my big concerns. I was like, Al, if you get Aaliyah to do this again, you got to make sure that the makeup and everything that she wore looks exactly like it did on the first day when we filmed it. Because there were certain shots from the first day that we did keep in the final film, and I got to compliment everybody. Al, Anthony, Aaliyah, especially Al. He edited it in a way where nobody even suspects that was shot. That scene was shot in 2 different days. Like, it felt so seamless that it didn't feel like we shot it on 2 days. And of all the people I showed the movie to, because so far a lot of people have seen the movie, Nobody has ever noticed anything. Nobody has ever noticed that it was like 2 different days of filming and we used like 2 different, days where they both were wearing that same outfit. So yeah, it was definitely a special moment, especially when we wrapped. Of course, because that was my first short film. Yeah, it was special saying for the first time, it's a wrap. So yeah, and the final photo at the very bottom right is of me, DZ, and his cousin Ali, who I did the episode with months ago. You guys can go check out that episode. And yeah, pretty much that episode was it was a cool episode, and it was the very first episode. It was the first video episode that I did on streaming services. So like Spotify for podcasters, that was like the very first video interview episode that I did on there. And also DZ and Ali, they're like people that I really like fuck with out here, music wise and also as people, because I think I said it before that me doing music out here where I'm from, a lot of people was fake as hell. A lot of people like, they would be cool to your face, but it would be like straight competition every time it came down to it. And I mean, yeah, rap is a competition, but I mean like on some fake shit, they would like take it to competition. But DZ and Ali, they were always very genuine people, and I also wanted to give them an opportunity with my movie. And also that day after we finished filming, I talked to them about possibly doing a song or doing the score for Blood Money, and now they actually have a song in Blood Money. They're going to be part of the end credit song. So getting them along on the process of the movie, but also just, doing these interviews with them, chopping it up, it was cool. Like, they are really some genuine people. And out of a lot of the people that I've done, work with out here where I'm from, like, they really are some of the coolest people that I've dealt with. So yeah, shout out to DZ and Ali. And congrats on making it in the end of year photo. I feel like it's something special when I put people in the end of year photo, because like that just shows that I genuinely fuck with them. And yeah, there is definitely some people in my other end of year photos that I put in there and they're not here to this day, unfortunately. Not that they died, but also not that any of them died, but it's just the fact that I just don't talk to them anymore, or we just fell out or whatever. So yeah, I just feel like end of year photos just shows that I really do fuck with you. So congrats on making it, y'all. And that's it for the end of year photo. I still like doing these every single year. And one thing I really should have done before 2020 is not just do an end of year photo, but do like a collage of all of them. Someday I think that's what I'm gonna do. Now that I can fix this up with the 2020s, I feel like once 2020s is done, I'm gonna do like a full collage of all the years, and then I'm gonna put the 2020s in the middle. I do want to do something like that in the future, but we'll have to wait until 2030 for that one. So yeah, that was it for the end of year photos. Now the next thing I want to talk about is the goals that I had from last year, see if I fulfilled them, and then, talk about that. And then also I want to talk about the goals that I have for next year. So what were my goals last year, and did I fulfill any of them? So I did rewatch my last year episode to get the goals down. And my first goal that I said in that episode was, when I go to Miami, actually explore Miami, because in that episode, I talked about the one time that I was in Miami, I really didn't get to explore. My uncle rented a car and he wanted to walk around and explore Miami, but we couldn't find no parking. So the best we did was just look at the sites while he was driving around. And, the initial plan before Myrtle Beach was to go to Miami. And of course we didn't go. So obviously that goal wasn't fulfilled. But because we pushed Miami back, and actually this last trip was really supposed to be so many different places. At one point it was going to be California. That was the initial place. Then we decided Miami. And then once, more people started backing out of the trip, it really just came down to me and my cousin saying, screw it, let's go to Myrtle Beach. We're going to get somewhat the same experience while also paying less money. So yeah, while We didn't go to Miami. We all said and agreed that in the future, Miami will be a trip that we're going to go on. And especially, it would have been so amazing to go to Miami this summer, especially now that the GTA trailer is out and like seeing locations from that trailer that I wanted to explore, like the Wynwood Walls. There's a scene in the Grand Theft Auto trailer that shows basically their version of the Wynwood Walls. And I'm like, damn. So the closest I can get to actually exploring Miami until we do that trip is GTA 6. And I still got to wait a damn year for it. So, yeah, that goal wasn't fulfilled, but it will definitely be fulfilled someday. The next one is more success with the podcast. And I guess you could say that I somewhat fulfilled that goal. I got a lot more subs on YouTube. Like I finally reached the 200 mark in terms of subs, which I think at the beginning of last year, I was still stuck at like 198 or something like that. I don't remember how many subs I had last year, but I do know that I definitely had more subs. And even this past weekend, I got a new sub. So whoever that is, shout out to them. Thank you for subbing. But yeah, I guess you could say that I somewhat got that. Like, I definitely had a lot more guests on this year. I definitely had a lot more shares and all of that. And then also me expanding to like video form podcasts on Spotify definitely also helps. Recently looked at my analytics and I got a lot of India fans. So yeah, like, I guess you could say that I fulfilled that one, but I just feel like, the more you work at something, the success is automatically going to come, or most likely it is going to come along with it. So yeah, that's one that I can say I somewhat fulfilled. The next one was live life more. And in that one, I was talking about how I wanted to learn more about my Jamaican culture. Like now that I found out that I was Jamaican, I wanted to learn more about the culture. I wanted to do ancestry, but even outside of that stuff, I wanted to like experience more things, do more things. And I guess that's another one that I have somewhat, done, because Myrtle Beach, that was the first time I took a flight without the rest of my family. It was just me and my cousin. That was like that was his very first flight ever. And that was my very first flight without the rest of my family. So essentially this was my first time traveling alone without them. And I guess that's another experience that you could really say that I learned by myself, or that I lived life more with that one. I was definitely a lot smarter with my money. I still had to get my money situation right, but I was definitely a lot smarter with my money, and that caused me to like be able to do more things like, oh, I did this or I did that. Especially like, damn, it escapes me. Oh, early in the year, I think it was early in the year when me and my cousin went to American Dream, that mall in North Jersey. There was a lot more that I was able to do compared to the first time we went, because I was really only focused on like buying clothes and like stuff like that the very first time we went. But this time, since I had more money, definitely more options to do things, and I did get some stuff that I want, but also we did play around a little bit in the mall and whatever, went to different attractions that they had there. So yeah, definitely I did get to live life more, I would say. And especially with ancestry, I found so many different results. I read my like DNA results, and I found out so much more about my family. And I also seen like pictures of my family that I never seen before. Like seeing younger pictures of my pop was like crazy. And it's crazy how many photos are actually up there of your family members and stuff like that. Seeing like all the people that I'm connected with through my DNA, seeing there was a lot of white people in my family. Like, wait, what? So yeah, doing the ancestry thing definitely did open my eyes. But I did stop at one point just because they have a paid subscription. Like if you want to do more, you have to pay for stuff. And I don't feel like signing up for no subscription right now, especially since my money really ain't that straight like that. So I feel like next year, once I get my money situation right, I will do more looking into ancestry. I will use it a lot more. But for right now, I'm glad with what I learned for this year with that. The next goal I had was losing weight, and that's another one that you could say that I somewhat did. Like I lost weight, but then at the same time I gained some, and now I'm slowly getting back into working out a lot more again like I did before. So I guess that's really a process that wasn't really going to take, like, I mean, losing weight really isn't a process that's just going to take 1 year. Like, it's going to take time. So I shouldn't be too hard on that. So I really should say that I did actually, fulfill the goal to lose weight, because I have been losing weight, but it's not just a straightforward journey. Like, you got to put in a lot of time and effort into it. So yeah, that's a goal that I somewhat fulfilled. And then the very last goal was make my first short film. And the most interesting thing is Blood Money was not the short film that I was talking about. I was completely talking about another short film. And the funny thing is Blood Money wasn't even, like, I had an original version of Blood Money. The movie was going to be completely different than what it wound up being. But then I said this on an older podcast before, that one of my coworkers said something that got the gears in my head like going, and then Blood Money became what it was, which I will explain more of that when like the movie is getting closer to release, or when it does release. But yeah, Blood Money was not the movie that I was talking about last year. It was a very different film, or short film idea. But the reason I put that one to the side and I decided to film Blood Money is because that film that I was talking about last year, I feel like that's the main short film that's really going to get me into this industry. I feel like that's the undeniable gem right there. So I want to get more experience with creating films before I make that, because I want that one to be my magnum opus. I want that one to be like one of the best films or greatest works I've ever done. So I made Blood Money basically as the first one, so that if I do mess up, the mess ups is here and not in that other short film. And the way that people talk about Blood Money, you would think that this was the magnum opus. People really want to see more of Blood Money. And actually, one thing about me is that I have so many film ideas that I had from when I was younger. I basically have a whole film career planned out. Like, I have so many film ideas and so many films in my head that hasn't been made yet, that I'm like, if nobody ever creates these film ideas that I've said, then I literally do have a whole film career from beginning to end. Like, I literally have it all planned out. So Blood Money, people love that movie so much, and I actually got so inspired to make a sequel that is actually changing up the plan that I had for a very long time. Because initially, my first film debut that when I do work with a major studio or make a feature-length film, the first film I wanted to do was a movie about the city of Camden. But Blood Money is so loved, and like people want to see so much more, and I have so much like thoughts on a sequel to Blood Money, that now that's the movie I intend on making as my feature film debut. Now, of course, life goes in various different ways, so you can't really plan it out, and you never know, Camden may still wind up being the first movie I make. But Blood Money, as of right now, the sequel to that really is intended on, it's my intention to make that the first feature-length film that I make. And trust me, for the people that have seen it, y'all know somewhat the idea that I have of it, because I have told people somewhat the idea I have for the sequel. But for y'all that haven't seen it, trust me, you guys will like the idea that I have, because I definitely set up a lot in the original short film. So yeah. And that was about it for all my goals of 2023. So what's my goals for 2024? Well, for one thing, I said I want to have more success with YouTube and being more consistent with it, which I definitely have been this year until around the time of the short film. So that is one that I feel like I'm still going to be positive that I'm going to do. But yeah, more success with YouTube, consistency, and I definitely want to start making more vlogs again, because I got that vlogging camera, and for a while it's been just sitting around collecting dust. So trust me, you guys will start getting more vlogs. You guys will be getting like more videos consistently now that the film is done. Not that I'm not going to do other film stuff, but I want to get more done with that. My boy Jalen was just also talking to me about, restarting the F&G group again. We're not going to call it F&G. We're going to come up with a new name, but like, he was talking to me about wanting to start that group back up. And then also, I have said before that I did start a gaming channel, Tevin Jameer Gaming. So go check that channel out. That's another one I hope to be consistent with. So yeah, you guys are going to see a lot of YouTube content, especially when I'm not working on like film stuff. So yeah, you guys will see more of that. The second thing that I have is more guests for the podcast. And this year I definitely had a lot of guests, but next year I want to do like so much more. I want to branch out and like meet different people and like have different people on. And who knows, maybe there could come a day where I have like a fan of the podcast on and like talk to them and ask them questions. So yeah, definitely more guests for the podcast. The third goal I had was definitely get my money together, which that has always been a problem for me these past few years. I think I said it before. I'm a shopaholic, y'all. Like I'm someone to where I have so much clothes, and even it's not even having a lot of clothes ain't enough. I have to have like the best brands. Like even one of my friends said, like, Tevin, you're the main person I know with so much designer in their closet. It's crazy, especially when you don't even need it. And yeah, this year has definitely taught me, especially right now around the holiday season, this year has definitely taught me like, bro, you really need to get yourself together with this money situation. Like you want to do all these things, you want to move out, you want to do all these things, but you don't have the money because you keep spending your money on dumb shit. So guys, I don't need no lecture. I don't need no talks. I don't need no interventions. Trust me. I know I need to get my money situation together, and that is easily like top 3 goal for next year for me. Definitely get my money situation together. And then also, not even just that, but it also does go back to wanting more experiences. And if you want to have more experiences and have more fun in life, you also got to have money. It's funny that I bring this up because like last night me and my friend was talking about this, and we were talking about how people say like money doesn't bring happiness, but no, what I will say is, because I do agree that money doesn't fully make you happy, but it definitely opens the door to happiness. That's how I feel about it, because a lot of my best moments in life was associated with money. So yeah, money situation, definitely that. The next goal is losing weight, which, you know, that's a given. You guys already know the deal with that one because I talked about that last year, but I also just talked about it now with the goal for this year. So yeah, losing weight, I'm going to continue doing that. Definitely want to be more consistent with working out. Sometimes it'd be hard, but you know, I got to push myself. And the last goal that I have written down, actually, I'm going to say another goal that I didn't have written down. So let me write that down real quick because I definitely want to remember this for next year. More film credits, because I definitely, one thing I said, yeah, that's a goal for me to have more film credits. Not just for me being a director and a writer and stuff like that, but just working on other short films. Like this year, I was in my friend Seth's short film as the zombie, but then also I was helping him with the audio. So he said that he was also going to give me like a sound credit and stuff like that. And it really got me thinking about all the films that I've done up to this point. Like in college, I worked on one person short film as the boom operator. Another person's film, I was like the second AC. This with my friend Seth's film, I was, you know, playing a role, but also sound guy, like, you know, sound mixing and like post credits and post production and all that. And then in this movie, I'm the writer and director of Blood Money. So I was like, you know what, that's one of the things I want to do. Like I was telling other people that we've met through making some of these films that like, if you guys need anybody, just hit me up, and I want to get more credits, you know, to add to my film resume. So yeah, this year I definitely want to get more film credits. Definitely gonna hit up like some of my other cousins that you know, want help for their films and stuff like that. And not even just that, but like, I guess just in video making in general, I just want to get more credits to my name. Cause like, even this year, I also helped edit, my cousin's podcast, the Opposing Perspective podcast. I did edit 2 of, I think he got like 5 or 6 episodes out now. I did edit 2 of those episodes. So just want to get my credits up, just to say like, hey, I edited, I directed, I wrote, I I was sound mixing, like I basically, so that I can show people that I have all these different talents when it comes to film and video. So yeah, definitely want to get more credits to my name. But the number one goal, and the last one that I put on this list, is I want to be accepted into at least 5 film festivals. With Blood Money, I started sending it to different festivals recently, and you know, with festivals, there's a lot of rules on like premieres and stuff like that, and you know, it seems like it's going to be really tough. And then also I have seen a lot of videos where a lot of upcoming filmmakers all say like, you're going to get a lot of no's, you're going to get a lot of rejections before you get yeses. And I really hope that, all I can do is hope and pray for the best that, you know, next year I get into at least 5 film festivals. Do I want more? Hell yeah. But if I get into at least 5, I still feel like I'll be satisfied, because like, I just want to get my film out there. I want to like leave my mark in this industry and let people know like Tevin Jameer is coming. Like, I'm going to be one of the directors that you guys will be talking about in a few years. So that's the one thing I really hope and pray for. And yeah, that's pretty much all the stuff that I had to talk about for this episode. Do I have any closing thoughts for the end of this year? Well, first off, I do want to say happy holidays, because like I did say at the beginning of this episode, I'm going to be releasing this the day after Christmas, even though I'm recording this like 2 days before Christmas. But yeah, happy holidays. I hope you guys have a nice and safe New Year's, because you guys know New Year's get crazy. So yeah, I hope you guys have a safe New Year's. And overall, 2023, it was, like I said in my end of year post on Instagram, it was definitely a roller coaster. And when I say it was a roller coaster, there has been so many ups and downs and loop-de-loops and twirls and all that. Like, this year has definitely been something. Definitely has been something. But can I say that this year was a bad year? No. A lot of bad moments, but ultimately I would have to say 2023 was a good year. Like, and it's crazy because for me, I've said this before, the 2020s so far has not been a good decade for me. 2020, obviously everybody knows about Miss Rona hitting the world and whatever. 2021, I probably had the worst breakup I ever had in my life, and there was so many other bad things that happened in 2021. Then you have 2022, where I suffered another bad breakup, not as bad as the other one, but bad breakup. And there was just so much going on in 2022 that I was like physically, emotionally, and all that drained. But this year, something turned around, and I don't know if it's like part of it might be my outlook on life, or it's just things just happen to naturally just turn around. But 2023 has been a pretty good year for me. That rhymed. But yeah, like, will I say that it was a great year? No, but 2023 has been good to me. And, you know, it was the year that I made my first short film. So it's always going to be a year that I, you know, think is amazing. But yeah, closing thoughts, 2023, good year. And all I can say is that I hope that more great things or good things is going to happen next year. 2024 is already looking to be a good year for me, especially with me putting this film in like the short film market. And then, you know, a lot of people, actually this short film has already set up 2024 to be a good year for me. So let's hope everything else kind of falls into line, like music, film, and all that. Like, let's hope that 2024 will continue to be good vibes, because 2023, besides a lot of its roller coaster moments, at the end of the day, 2023 was a pretty good vibe of a year. So yeah, like I said, once again, happy holidays. I hope you guys have a safe new year, and let's hope that 2024 continues to be a good year. And let me know in the comments, how'd y'all feel about 2023? Good, bad, whatever. Let me know. I like to have conversation with y'all. So yeah. With all that being said, Tevin Jameer signing out. Once again, happy holidays. See you next year, and I'll see you on the next one.